Hi everyone, I'm Jim, and I'm really excited to be bringing you another season of Survivor Branford, our 9th season now. It's windy as anything, as is usual here at the lake, but we're gonna roll with it. So very shortly, I'm going to be leaving this seat so that our 7 new players can come join us for the start of the game. And you might be asking yourself, why only 7 new players this year? And that's because, inspired by the events of Season 7 and Season 8, this year we'll be splitting the tribes into returning players versus new players. Now, I have such confidence in this group of new players that not only do I feel comfortable doing that, but I think they'll have every opportunity to thrive against the returning veterans. Want to meet these new players? Say no more. For some reason that I can't quite nail down, of all the new players, I have the best feeling about Josh. He's here to enjoy himself, and also to make sure that the rest of his tribe shares in that enjoyment. But don't be fooled that Josh isn't here to play the game. With over 20 years experience of watching Survivor, Josh has seen and thought about it all. If Josh is able to get you one-on-one, you're really going to like the guy for the vulnerability he's willing to show, and for his drive to find common ground. With the right lineup of challenges, Josh can cement his status as a true triple threat, but I also think that under certain circumstances, it may be the challenges that'll be his undoing. But unless we're being directly responsible for a loss, or having to endure a string of losses, I'm fully prepared to be handing Josh a merge buff. Someone who was a no-brainer to get on this season of Survivor Branford was Victoria. Her own strategy is not to get too deep into the strategy. You might be asking yourself, well, what does that mean, Jim? Victoria is going to use her standout social presence and her athleticism to integrate within her tribe. Being successful on both counts should be able to provide her with plenty of insulation when it comes down to determining who's going to be the next to go. Victoria is looking to lay low in the complex strategic conversations that are happening around her, and will be glad to do so. So long as she can present herself as an amenable and reliable ally, Victoria is doing the job she's tasked herself with. But if Plan A doesn't quite work, Victoria is more than capable of elevating her strategic game to give herself every chance for a deep run. To me, this tribe of new players is someone that's just going to pop right off the screen this season, and his name is Tim. With ample amounts of personality and game, I wouldn't be surprised if he factors into this season in a huge way. The timing of this game couldn't be any better for Tim, as he's coming in feeling great mentally and physically, and brings in a ton of excitement. Despite having some nerves around the challenges, Tim has one big advantage, as proficiency in the water is always crucial in the early stages of this game, and naturally, he's a former college swimmer. Tim wouldn't mind at all if he ends up being even a bit of a villain this season, but more of the fun-loving and entertaining kind that no one will be able to look away from. Every episode of Season 9 that Tim will appear in is going to be a treat, and I'm selfishly going to hope that it's all of them. Are you sitting down right now like I am? Are you buckled in? Okay, well then don't say I didn't warn you when you watch Christy. I don't know if she has any other gear but full throttle, and that's going to be to all of our benefit. My bet is on Christy for providing the most highlights of this season. I get a controlled chaos feeling from Christy, meaning that if she needs to say something to stir up her tribe a little, or tell some lies here and there, her hand is going to be raised the highest. Even if it weren't to benefit her game, I think Christy may not be able to resist shaking things up just for her own entertainment. As a fan of this game, Christy does understand where to draw that line before she starts hurting her own chances, and will look to strike the right balance in her social play. Beyond this, I think Christy may be the most driven to take down the returning players, first by beating them in immunity challenges, and second, just by plain messing with them post-merge. Christy may be the most high-variance player on this season, and my hope is that the spinner lands in the tail end of the game. Win or lose, this player is always going to have a special place to me, as having submitted the very first application we've ever received. It's my pleasure to host Jackson and give him the Survivor experience that he's been looking for. Of course, being first in line doesn't guarantee you anything, but when it came time for Jackson to make his case, he delivered in a huge way. The first thing you'll notice about Jackson is his positive energy and his natural talent to converse with anyone. These are abilities that can't be taught or faked, and should allow Jackson to make a great first impression on his tribe. He knows the game inside and out, and prefers his Survivor to be more straightforward and built upon relationships and not idols and advantages. When you hear Jackson talk about how all of the secrets involved in this game could cause him to crack a little, or how he doubts his winning chances, you might write him off. But I think it's that very ability to recognize weaknesses and having great self-awareness which will enable Jackson to succeed in this game, and maybe even receive a stack of Jacksons from me after I've announced the winner. It's generally thought that you need to have a bit of a mean streak, or some devious tendencies to make your way through Survivor. But for Tasha, she's simply nice. Can an anti-mean girl go far in this game? Everyone on Tasha's tribe is going to love her, and she's going to be very mindful of allocating her time equally to build relationships with them all. We've seen many times, and as most recently as Survivor Branford Season 8, how the most well-liked player is able to dodge the votes simply because for the others, the game would be more enjoyable to have that player still in it. Now, provided that the most well-liked player can go far, breaking into the final 3 remains a challenge, as last season's 4th place finisher can attest to. I wouldn't be surprised if Tasha sits at the center of her tribe and has an abundance of options to consider in the early hours. Another former competitive swimmer, Tasha's not going to be a slouch when it comes to the challenges either. So I've just made a great case for Tasha, and what I'll be looking for is to see if she can make that case for herself when the game is on. If I'm touting this group of new players as the future of Survivor Branford, all with a passion for playing this game, then it's correct to call Steven the heartbeat of this tribe. With a job based around Survivor, you know that you're going to get something memorable from Steven. As a Survivor podcaster, Steven blends his experiences socializing with others every day with thinking about Survivor every day. Can you think of a more perfect background to have coming into a game like this? Now, it's one thing to sit in the comfort zone of your home talking about the game, and another to be out here playing it, but I think it's going to take an unusual amount of bad luck to slow Steven's momentum. However, no one's infallible, so it's certainly possible that Steven may come out too strong, to the point where the rest of his tribe gets nervous about having him around, and casts him out early. I'll be very interested to hear what Steven's initial reads are on his tribe, and who he chooses to make those all-important first bonds with. While I feel I have great job security, Steven, just don't do so well where people are asking for you to replace me in Season 10, okay? And now, let's say hello to the 7 returning players who will be taking them on. Actually, no, I'm not going to make it that easy. You'll have to wait until January 13th to find out which players from our history we've selected to compete in this landmark season. And because our full cast won't be revealed until then, I'm going to abstain from making a winner pick this year. However, we did take to Instagram, where our followers were anything but shy when it came to making their picks. 82% of those responded think that the winner of this season will be a new player, while 59% think it'll be a guy who comes out on top. Finally, a whopping 94% think that I won't pull the twist of all twists this season and enter the game myself as one of the returning players. Never say never, right? Do you have any of your own predictions about how this season's going to go, especially who the returning players will be? Please let us know. I look forward, along with all of you, to January 13th, when our battle of the future versus the past kicks off.